Brothers and sisters in Christ, good morning. They call the fourth Sunday of Lent Laetare Sunday. If you go back to the season of Advent, the third Sunday of Advent is called Gaudete Sunday. It has the same theme of rejoice. For Gaudete Sunday, it is rejoicing because Christmas Day is near. Because there are only 4 Sundays of Advent. Laetare has in a way a semblance, the same meaning, but it is called from saying, rejoice, Jerusalem. We still have 2 weeks, to go before Holy Week, But we have passed by the middle point. Kaya kahit papano, nandun na rin po yung tema ng galak. Malapit na yung Easter. Malapit na yung Pasko ng pagkabuhay. That's why the vestments used by the priest, even though it is prescribed that you can still wear violet or purple, is for this Sunday, it is pink, or rose, to signify that rejoicing given the closeness of the Paschal Triduum moving towards Easter. And for this Sunday's Liturgy of the Word, we are again given an opportunity to reflect on a particular aspect of our Lenten journey that can prepare us for Holy Week and of course for Easter and the whole Easter season. It is this interplay between darkness and light. And if you want to call it, the ailment or the infirmity that surfaces especially in our gospel is blindness, pagkabulag. There are 3 types of blindness. The first type is physical blindness. This is the story of the man who was born blind and was healed by the Lord in our gospel. And I'm sure there are also other forms of physical blindness. There are those who have the rheumatism of the eyes, I don't know the other medical terms, but there are those who have deteriorating eyesight, given an illness. The second type is called emotional blindness. A term used is alexithymia. They say alexithymia is a low form of, having emotional intelligence, a low emotional intelligence. Sabi nga, di ba, maganda kung meron kang mataas na EQ, emotional quotient, kasi you can relate well, But if you have this emotional blindness, there is a certain inability, to, for yourself, recognize your own emotion. Parang, ano bang pakiramdam mo? Alam mo ba kung ikaw talaga'y galit? O, alam mo na, masama ang loob, o masaya, o malungkot. Kasi hindi mo alam, Or, also recognizing the emotions of people you relate with or encounter. Yan, kalimitan, karanasan din yan. Kaya, nahihirapang makitungo o makisama, kahit sa pamilya, kahit saan siya pumunta. The third one, and I think this is our movement for reflection, is called spiritual blindness. And I think the point of the liturgy of the Word today is to identify that spiritual blindness caused by sin. And I recall when we had this 30-day retreat we were asked to contemplate on sin. And in one of my own contemplation, my image of sin was total darkness. Talagang kadiliman, yung wala ka talagang makikita. Yung iba nga kahit sinasara yung mata, parang may nababanaagang pa na konti, pero ito total darkness, wala kang nakikita. It's like you're really cut off. And spiritual blindness is like being cut off from God. Brothers and sisters in Christ, that is what sin does to us. We are brought into darkness and being cut off from God and even cut off from people. That's why the Lenten season is a blessed opportunity to really go to confession, no? And in so doing, be able to get out of the darkness of sin and again, renew that relationship with God and with others. So, what can be perhaps our lessons, no? So that we can get out of this spiritual blindness. First, I think we should see the light of God. You know, in our first reading, it's interesting from the book of Samuel, there was this choice from Jesse's sons, no, who would be the one to be, no, anointed later on as king. And we know the story of David. He was the one who was triumphant over Goliath. Lahat ho ng anak ni Jesse, mahuhusay, matitipuno ang katawan, pagre matatalino, magaganda ang bikas. Kaya yun ang presinta kay Samuel, yung anointer. Sabi, hindi yan. And it was David who was a shepherd boy. Hindi mo mapapansin that Samuel chose. Kaya nga sabi, no, not as man sees that God see, because a man sees the appearance, but the Lord looks into the heart. It's like seeing through the eyes of God. And that is what it means to see the light. You know, if the Lord looks straight to our heart, He knows who we are and what we have done. And only then can we realize that we have a God who wants us to get out of this spiritual blindness. Kaya magandang tingnan din. If we want to see the light, can we see now not only our hearts that God sees, but can we also see the heart of God so that we can be enlightened and get out of sin? The second, and this is specified in St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians in our second reading, it is to live as children of the light. Ganga na sabi dito, no? Take no part in the fruitless works of darkness. And I'm sure whether it is St. Paul or the disciple of Paul who wrote this letter, he was clearly telling the people of Ephesus, the community of Ephesus, no, that it is only by becoming children of the light and living as children of the light that they can be witnesses to the light of Christ. No? Finally, the third, and I think this is our lesson from this blind man in our gospel, how can we get out of our spiritual darkness? Let us have faith and be healed by the light of Christ. That is what happened to the hopeless case of the blind man who was born with that ailment. And what happened after when he was healed? No one could understand. The Pharisees and scribes were even attacking not Jesus, also this blind man. The healing brought about conversion. Kaya hindi lang to pagpapagaling para makakita yung mata. Ito yung pagpapagaling ng buong kaluluwa. Napagaling itong bulag. At sa bandang huli, no, as we saw, no, sabi nga dito, no, he recognized the Lord. He was able to see Christ, and that made him believe and became a follower of Christ. Brothers and sisters in the Lord, during this Lenten season, we know it is only Jesus who can heal us of our sinfulness. It is only Jesus who can make us see the true light, His light. Let us go to Him and experience wholeness and healing. 3 ways to get out of our spiritual blindness. Let us see the true light of God as God sees through our hearts. Let our eyes see through the heart of God. Second, let us live as children of the light, not of darkness. And third, let us have faith and be healed by no one else but Christ. In so doing, His light will not only make our eyes see, but bring us conversion to Him, a change of life for the better, a change of life for God.